everyone, I hope you're well. Today I am flipping through my scrapbook from my trip to Venice. Now this was a trip that was quite a few years ago now. We went in 2019, so 6 years ago, and I went with my friend Amy. We just went for, it wasn't even the weekend, we flew out Saturday morning and then flew back Sunday evening, so we were in Venice for just over 24 hours, but that was plenty of time to really get a feel for the city and see what we wanted to see. So this is the picture of us flying over Venice, so you could see the Grand Canal and all the different islands as we flew over it, which was sort of a really nice way to get a first view of the city. And then when we landed, we got the water taxi from the airport to the city centre. It took about an hour. It was quite a slow journey, and it actually stops off at some of the other islands like Murano and Burano. So while we didn't get off, we did get to sort of get a glimpse of a view of those cities. So our return trip was €27. So this was a long time ago now, so price is probably a bit different, but it was a return ticket, so you only needed one, provided that you return back to the airport within 30 days. So this is just a picture of us on the boat, and then some sights as we kind of arrived into Venice. The water taxi was okay. It was a public one rather than one of the private ones because they are quite pricey. We did get quite a strong smell of petrol, but we just made sure that we sat by an open window and it was fine. So we got off at the Marco Square sort of stop, I think it's called San Marco, and then we made our way to our hotel room, which was just round the corner. Didn't realise we were so close to St Mark's Square when we booked, but it was a really good location. So we just dumped our bags and had a quick sit down before we went out exploring. So just around the corner from our hotel was a gelato shop, so we stopped and got some ice cream and then sort of started mooching about. We didn't really have a plan, we just sort of kept wandering and then kind of ended up wherever we fancied, really. So we just sort of wandered along the Grand Canal, and just every time we came to a bridge we'd cross over it and then walk on the other side of the river. And there's just so many different alleyways and different streets to go down that it was a bit of a maze, really. So we got a map from our hotel and we sort of followed along with a pen as we were going, so that we could, it was a bit like Hansel and Gretel, we were laying breadcrumbs or following our route on the map so that we didn't get too lost. There was an occasion where we asked someone for directions and they told us which way to go, and then looking on the map we realised that they'd sent us in the wrong direction, so we had to sort of sneak back past him without him noticing us, which was quite amusing. And a lot of the buildings were really pretty, sort of very obviously Venetian inspired, given that we were in Venice. But yeah, it was lovely to just sort of not really have a set route planned. We just sort of kept going wherever we wanted as long as we were following it on the map. And then we stopped at a lovely restaurant for dinner, and I got a pasta and Amy got a pizza, and we just sort of cut each dish in half and shared it, which was really nice. And then a couple of the waiters just wanted to get in the photos, so that was cool. So I'd say I didn't really have a plan, but the one place I really wanted to go was San Barnaba, and that is because of this building here. So this features in the third Indiana Jones film. For anyone who's seen it, it is a church that is sort of depicted as a library in the film. It's where they go and try and find the tomb, where they find the X marks the spot. So this was my whole reason for wanting to go to Venice, and it was really cool to yeah, to see this in person. And then the little square as well where they have like a big chase, and then the water's edge where they get on the boat to escape. So yeah, I was in my element there. That was the whole reason for the trip, and it was a really cool place to see. And then another attraction we wanted to see was the famous Rialto Bridge. So we first of all went in the evening, and it was absolutely packed. It was heaving, so we sort of had to push our way through. But then we went back early the next morning, and it wasn't as busy, so that was nice to sort of get a bit of a clearer view. And then we went round like underneath a little alleyway and round the side, and we managed to get a good view of the bridge there. And then that's just us on the bridge sort of looking out from it. So yeah, that was really pretty, and sort of it was definitely a lot more grand and a lot more ornate than some of the other bridges. So we had breakfast in our hotel, which was outside on the terrace. It was absolutely lovely. It was just like a little buffet breakfast, but we had a little lizard join us for our breakfast. So we had a little guest, and then as soon as we had breakfast, we headed out. And the first thing we explored was St. Mark's Square, which is sort of one of the most famous places in Venice. So yeah, just sort of took a picture of the buildings, which were really grand and pretty. We didn't actually go round any of these just because we knew we were pushed for time, and so we just looked at them from the outside. But again, because we went quite early in the morning, it wasn't too busy. So I know St. Mark's Square can get very packed, so it's definitely better to go early in the morning. And then we saw the Bridge of Sighs, which is another famous bridge. You can't actually walk over this one, but you can still see it from another bridge. And this is where prisoners were led to their deaths. Very, very happy subject. And it's called the Bridge of Sighs because apparently they used to sigh, sort of accepting their fate as they went over the bridge. And then we got a picture of some gondolas, just sort of bobbing on the Grand Canal. Again, we didn't go on one just because of time, and also they are quite pricey. So we decided before we even went, we decided we weren't going to do that. But I'm sure it's quite fun to do. But we definitely got lots of pictures of all the gondoliers sort of giving all the trips to people. And then these are just some more pictures, sort of us wandering around. We definitely sort of covered most of the main part of the city. So we went past the hospital, and then sort of found the landmark from St. Mark's in the distance. And then just sort of, I think this must be around the edge of the city because it's sort of, you've then got the open sea. We found a nice little cafe place where we got a little drink to take away and just sat on the steps over here, just having a chill and looking around and people watching, which was really nice. And then finally for lunch, of course, we got some more pasta, which was very yummy. And then this was a picture of our map with all our drawings on it, which was sort of so we could retrack our route. And then before we headed off, we went back to the Rialto Bridge and got some more pictures. We found an even closer little viewpoint, so made sure we got some cool shots there. And then just in this space here, I like to sort of make notes of like little anecdotes or funny things that happen so that I remember them. So sort of the 24 hours in Venice. So when we went to get the water taxi, we realised we'd missed where you pick up the maps from, and there was this woman who wouldn't let us go back and get one, but then her colleague went back and nicked one for us and gave it to us, so we called him the Dude Map Man. He was really nice. And then sort of mentioned the gelato. Yeah, just lots of different little things from the trip. When we checked out of our hotel, we had our no, we didn't have suitcases because we were only there for one night, but for the other guests that did, rather than taking them down the stairs, they had like a pulley system where they put the suitcases out the window and sort of shimmied them down, which seemed quite interesting. So yeah, sort of in the 24 hours, there was lots of different stories and anecdotes that we came up with, so it's nice to just be able to remember them there. So that is that for this scrapbook. It's very short because obviously we were only there for 24 hours, but it was a trip that I'm so glad we did and well worth doing. And while there's sort of other islands you can visit like Murano and Burano and obviously the rest of Italy, I think 24 hours in Venice was definitely enough. So yeah, it was a good trip. We went in June and the weather was lovely. It wasn't too hot actually. I thought it might be a bit hotter and a bit stuffier, but found the temperature really nice and it was nice to just walk about in the sunshine. So yeah, that was our trip to Venice. So I will leave this video here. Thank you very much for watching and I will see you in the next one. Bye!